Hi everyone. So yeah, I had a few questions yesterday from Nikki Querden. I think that's how you pronounce it. Um, and basically, it kind of covered something that I think I was going to talk about anyway. And I think it's also a good sort of area so that we can kind of clue you in on everything that's going on and sort of get everyone up to date. Plus, kind of answer a few questions while we're here. Um, So one thing he asked is, is anything sort of new coming out this year for Reynard? Now, there's going to be a few things, and what comes out is dependent on the results of the Kickstarter. So, for example, the AK Girl and Perfect Platinum Special Editions, those coming out in print form, largely dependent on whether or not we can hit the target, because to make print versions of those editions would be very expensive, so possibly something that wouldn't be able to happen if we can't hit the Kickstarter. Then issue 6, so to give you an idea, there's a few things. There's a couple of things that are spoilery that we'll come to in the spoiler territory section that comes up a bit later, but for the broad version of this, so issue 6, Guillermo goes to confront Megafox about a situation that happened in issue 5, where he found out something about Sal, and Sal and Vibes realise that in effect his confrontation, like, he's basically running straight into a death trap, and they go to rescue him, and then they get caught out as well. So a whole big situation happens there. This also ties in with Warp King and Insect Girl, and they get side stories in issue 6 as well. So we've got Ellie Delal La Fortune is doing the main story on this one. We also have side stories by Blue Ike, who's also working on issue 7, and also Emily Bandicoot is working on a side story. So we've got a few things going on as well. And this is this new character coming in, Romana, is being voiced by Moira Harragan, and she's awesome. And she was in the show Super Happy Kill Time, which, if you're someone who was at the One Life Left OLL 2023 Gaming Con last weekend, then you'll have seen some of the footage that they've got for that upcoming season. And I think there's also a spin-off that AJ Dean's in as well. So that's really cool. I'm looking forward to that, because I did a review of seasons 1 to 3 for our Patreon, so, but long story short, really enjoyed it. I do. It's kind of weird. It's almost like anime meets Spaced almost. And it's set in Origin. It's zany and odd, but I love it, and I recommend giving it a go. And there's some really cool people in it, like Ben Allen and Ashens, and yeah, there's some very talented folks in that, and it's very stylish, I have to say. I think for a YouTube project, I think it's very well done, because I think those kinds of things can often look very naff, but like, I was surprised just how good the visual style was of that one. Yeah, so that's that. I mean, another thing that came up when I was at OLL, and I want to kind of address it here, is this idea of kind of who the comic is suitable for. So there's a couple of sides to this. So one is this idea of, oh, I don't read comics, therefore I won't. No. Here's the thing. Think about, say, going to see a Marvel film, going to see a Pixar film. Like, you don't have to be like well versed in Marvel lore in order to enjoy a Marvel film. It helps, but you don't have to. And likewise with a Pixar film, you don't necessarily have to be a small child to appreciate how awesome a Pixar film is. And if anything, there's levels to them that everyone can enjoy, and that is something that I personally aspire to, is something that, if someone wants to enjoy it, they can do. Like, if you've ever enjoyed a Saturday morning cartoon, indeed, if you've ever enjoyed a cartoon, I hope that you'll be able to enjoy this. And likewise, the other side of it, which I think is a bit more subjective, so this idea of, is this or is this not suitable for my child? Now, your idea of what is suitable is going to differ from someone else. So I am not going to say outright, yes, this is suitable, no, this isn't. But what I will say is I recommend looking at this first. So, for example, we've got trailers, we've got the comics on the website. Have a look, and then you can gauge it for yourself. And there's no right or wrong, in my opinion. It's just what you personally think is better for your children or not. Or to be honest, like I said, I think whether you enjoy it or not, I think that's the crucial thing. I think because if you don't enjoy it, I'm not going to ask you to foist it on your children. But equally, if you get into it and want to share it, that's cool. I mean, I know, like, one person, when we did the launch, issue 1, we had some folks who, they bought the comic and then said, like, I'll read it to my kids, but I'll kind of pare it down for them so it's a little bit more accessible. If you want to do that, that's fine. Like, again, I'm trusting your judgment, and then when they get older and then they can read it for themselves, absolutely fine. Like, I'm not going to tell you as a parent what to do, because like I said, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong. Like I said, the only thing I will say is just be open-minded, is what I would say. I would say give something a crack, because you never know. Like, I remember I was in a car journey with my brother and my dad, and we were excited about the Lego movie, and he was like, oh, that sounds ridiculous. And like, the Lego movie turned out to be absolutely brilliant, and and I absolutely loved it. And it's like, things that you think you might not like, give it a try. And fair play, like, I have had this as well, people saying that they gave it a try and they weren't a fan. Absolutely fine. Like, I can't really fault anyone for that. But what I will say is, we are at the point now with the Kickstarter. So this is like the final little update before we get into the spoiler territory, which, like I say, will be clearly marked. We are at the point now where any amount you can give really helps us out, because we are at the tail end. We have got 3 days to go, so we need all the help we can get at this point. So if you can back us, please do, and please share the link. It's awesome that more people are sharing the link. I'm really grateful for that. People like Bill Nichols, Jackie Carrera, and so forth, like, being proactive and getting it out there. I really appreciate that, but equally, backing is really important right now, because we are at the point now where we're at 25% and we really need to push this further. So please, whether it's £1, whether it's £100, anything you can do right now is massive. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, this is the point that I'm marking as the spoiler zone, because there are some spoilers that I need to talk about in order to discuss these specific things, which have arisen partially out of questions and partially out of necessity. So, just to let you know, people involved here, if you didn't see the warning back there will be some spoilers here, and then there will be a thing that comes up saying now leaving spoiler territory. So if you see that symbol, that means you can skip, because there's not going to be like any pictures or anything. This is just going to be me saying a few things, then moving on. So this is your warning on top of your warning, if you like. So Nikki Querden, I think that's how you pronounce it. If not, sorry. So I've asked, like, what will Animal Kingdom be? Will Animal Kingdom be restored? And I've got to say, on the answer to this question, how can I put this? So if you didn't read issue 5, so Animal Kingdom, which is the home planet of AKL, was destroyed. Now, will this be brought back? Will it be restored? I'm not going to tell you, because that's very much in the realms of spoilers, because I can't tell you so like how it's going to end, whatever. Well, I can't tell you, because we need to get to the end. So when this story is finished, you'll know. That's the best way I can put it. And there are things that sort of tie into what's going to be happening at the end of issue 6, and that is what you will then find out. You'll then find out, like, what this has to do with everything, and how certain things tie in with other things. So it will make sense. Like there is like a conclusion at the end of this. That's what I can say. I don't really want to get into it too much, to be honest with you. But yeah, if you I've seen these comments, like questions, come up a few times, and that's all I can tell you. Like, I can't tell you any more than that, any more than like before like Empire Strikes Back came back. It's like asking George Lucas, oh, what's the big twist in this film? Like, what answer do you expect from me to give you? And side thing here, this is what fanfic is for. This is what theory videos are for. This is, what speculation is for. What do you think? Go wild. That's absolutely fine. Like I say, we have a game plan. That's all I ask, is that there is an idea. It's an idea that's been brewing for years, and there will be a conclusion. That's all I'll say on that. And speaking of which, another thing I wanted to sort of tie in, because I mentioned her briefly. So we have a new cast member on the voice acting side, Moira Harragan, and she will be playing Romana. Now, you may or may not know who Romana is. You may or may not have seen the artwork of her. So just to clarify who she is, and like I say again, this is spoiler territory, she is the daughter of Sal and Guillermo. And in case you're wondering, like, or did she just like sort of pop up fully formed? I was like, well, no. If you go back to issue 5, there's a story behind that. In effect, like, she was sort of aged up through warping, if that makes sense. And she is in effect controlled by Megafox. And issue 6 gets more into how that happens. And so I'm really chuffed about Moira coming in. I think she's really cool and very much, a good sort of member to have on the team. She's very enthusiastic, and I loved it watching her in Super Happy Kill Time. I think she's really good in that. Character's very different in that, but I reckon she can handle this. So her character is going to become more crucial in. So there's a bit more in issue 6, and she's going to come more into issue 7. So there will be, again, this will make sense. There is a game plan, and when you might think, oh, I'm only getting little bits here, like a bit like what we did with issues 1 to 3, like seeds get sowed. So you will notice like little details, and then they will become more important later on. So just keep an eye out. So those are the things. And don't get me wrong, ask questions. That's absolutely fine. But if there's something that I can't tell you, then I can't tell you it. And please, if you've asked a question like this, then if you keep asking the same question, don't be surprised if you get the same answer. Alright, much love.